Second part of 6.1. I'm adjusting my camera. I broke my little stand I had last time. It was one of those little kitchen things where you stack up so your spices don't all be the same level. Trying different stuff. So anyway, 6.1, starting with number 12. So let's see, what have I done? I said, it doesn't matter what your sketch looks like. Oh, this is the part where I talk about how math people are notorious for being OCD. I sort of brought that up a while ago. But what you'll find in math classes, the further you go, you get people who are more and more in tune with what they teach, and you will discover that they're so particular. This has to be exactly this way, and this has to be exactly that way. I have a lot of friends who are math instructors, a lot of friends who are professors who teach math. The math department is full of notoriously particular OCD people. It just speaks to them, that kind of organization, the laying out of stuff, and that logical progression. I do not have that, thank goodness, I guess. But it makes math class hard from here on out a lot of times because they don't give you the chance to be a beginner. You're a beginning math student, in my opinion. And you may even be, this is the end of your math career. If you're a business major and you're stuck here, this is it, you're done. And that is fine. So I will allow you a lot more what I call bad math grammar. That was the reason I didn't make you reduce fractions a while ago or rationalize them, because that's just like running into somebody who doesn't speak English as their first language and they say, instead of saying, can you hand me that red box in the store, they'll be like, can you get box red? I know what they mean. I got it. And someday they'll be better at it. Someday you'll be better at this if you want to be. But for now, if the box is red instead of red box, I don't care. So, sketch, label your theta, label your opposite, hypotenuse, your adjacent, draw that little square in there for your right angle. Then, it says the cotangent is 1/3. Cotangent, and I had to go back and look this up because the only time I do this is when I teach this particular class once a year. The cotangent is the adjacent side over top of the opposite side. So next to my little ADJ on my picture, I wrote 1. Next to my little OPP for opposite on my picture, I wrote 3. I have 2 sides. Hypotenuse is missing. I can do that. And then I've got all these angles I want to find. So let's do the easy one first. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. You've done it the longest. Usually it's the most familiar. Makes it the easiest. Stick my 2 sides in. End up with the hypotenuse being the square root of 10. Now, I have done all these steps on these notes. This is all algebra. This is not trig. You, like before, you committed to knowing arithmetic and algebra when you came into this class. You are going to have to recall some of that. If I skip a step and you want to ask me, I'll explain it to you. But at some point in these notes, I will start to skip steps because you're responsible for what you said you knew before. So, my hypotenuse is the square root of 10. If you want to label your picture, back up and label it. I didn't on this one, probably because I was in a hurry. Then I wrote my sine, cosine, tangent. I put all my little letters in and my little short words because it helps me keep track of stuff and not switch things around. Opposite over hypotenuse, adjacent over hypotenuse, opposite over adjacent. I fill those in with the 3 numbers I've got, and then I flip them over. And again, that 3 over the square root of 10, I am fine with that. It is poor math grammar. If you're going to do calculus, they're not going to like it. They're going to want you to multiply the top and bottom by the square root of 10 and get 3 on the square root of 10 over 10. I don't care if you do it or not. Just be prepared if you go on in math classes, somebody else is going to make you do it. They are not going to let you stay here. But for now, we'll learn trig. 14, I did the notes. Oh, I know I got out of order here. 13's on the bottom, 14's on the top. Y'all can tiptoe through them. 15, now 15 is an issue and experience. I have more math experience than you do. That's just the way life is. I've done more of it. I teach it. It's my career. If you don't make it your career and you don't do it every day, you may not develop the experience to see this. However, textbooks are written by people who have the experience, and lots of times they forget that not everybody has it. Or they're just trying to mess with you to see how much you can pick up. And I do think math people mess with you, so I can take it if you want to tell me that. This happens to be a rationalized fraction. I see that. I know what they've done. I wrote down what it would have been to start with before they messed with it. Now, if you do this problem and you use the rationalized fraction, you will get a correct answer. It may not match what's in the back of the book, but it is correct. Math, they don't let you in on this either till later. Most answers create these whole families of answers. Don't worry about that. But I did this based on the fact that I know this is rationalized, so I did it the right way. It should match what's in the back of the book. If you want to try it with a rationalized one, it might reduce to match this, or it might be a multiple above. Either one of those is fine. It's not wrong. Okay, 16, same deal. I did that one and set it up. Let's see where I want to stop. I'll stop right here at 32. Okay, so the next section in this in 6.1 is to get the values for the tangent of a set of degrees. Now you have two choices. You can use the unit circle, which you should remember at least a little bit from geometry. It's printed in your book. I think it's the very back page. I'll build one later. I'm not going to get totally into that now. Or you can plug it in a calculator, or you can plug it in a website like Wolfram Alpha or Hack Math, or Google does a lot of them, and Photomath does a lot. All those websites probably will do it. If you do the, I can't remember, the Desmos calculator does it. So I put two answers. I put the unit circle answer and I put the calculator answer. I will be honest with you, once you get so far, I don't have the unit circle memorized either. I have a book with a chart in it. That's what I do. And I was encouraged to buy this after I got so far. Nobody memorizes all this stuff. You have other stuff to think about. Nobody goes into an office and they put you in a little room and say, here, do this, and somebody will check you when you're done. No. You got books, you got references, you got co-workers, you got interns, you have engineers looking over your shoulder, bosses looking over your shoulder. Work is collaborative, so is class as far as I'm concerned. Alright, so the tangent of 30, if you go by the unit circle, tangent is opposite over adjacent, which is the same thing as sine over cosine. I plugged in the two numbers off of there, reduced it, square root of 3 over 3. That's the same thing that's on my chart. Or I plugged it in the calculator and got 0.577. I'm alright with either one of those answers. Suits me fine. I don't care what the textbook definitions say. I'm good with either answer. Or the textbook directions, sorry. 20, I did a bunch of those. I put both the unit circle answer and the calculator answer. Everything's fine. All the way down to 28. I think I'm going to, let's see what I got left. Stop here. Yeah, I'm going to stop here and do 6.1 in one more video. Thanks.